Good morning, students of class 7. Welcome to my history classroom. In my last videos, I told you about rise and spread of Islam, and today I am going to discuss your fourth chapter, Turkish invasion of India. In this chapter, you will learn about two major invasions during this period. One is Arab invasion and other is Turkish invasion. From now, the early medieval period started in India from 712 to 12,006. India witnessed at this time two major invasions. One is Arab invasion and other than is Turkish invasion. India's trading relations with Arabia existed as early 17th century. Some Indian kingdoms imported horses from Arabia. For that reason, Arab merchants settled down in the Malabar coast. Slowly and gradually, the Arabs spread their faith and built mosques. Indian rulers did not object to their religious activity. Objects mean objection. In 18th century, India witnessed first Arab invasion by Muhammad bin Qasim, a general of Umayyad dynasty. The real founder of the Muslim empire in India was Muizuddin Muhammad bin Sam, popularly known as Shibabuddin Muhammad Ghori or Mahmud Ghur, Muhammad of Ghur. It is true that Muhammad bin Qasim was the first Muslim invader of India, but he failed to crave out of Muslim empire in India on account of his premature death. However, Muhammad bin Qasim conquered Sindh in 712 and Multan 713. Both territories were under control by Arab from nearly 1.5 centuries. In this period, means Arab invasion lead to major defined cultural exchange between India and Arab. Firstly, Arab translated many Sanskrit books into Arabia, developed science and astronomy and mathematics. The Arabs gradually adapted to the Indian way of life and intermingled freely with the local people. From 1000 years onwards, Turkish invaders entered India through mountain passes in northwest like Hindu Kush, Beluchistan, Bamiyan, etc. etc. They were all our mountain pass. So naturally here a question arises, who were Turkish or who were Turks? The Turks were nomadic tribes of Central Asia who had been converted to Islam. The fall of the Caliphate in Central Asia left behind two important cities. They were Ghazni and Ghur, now present day in Afghanistan, both cities that became very powerful. Ghaznavi Empire, Muhammad Sultan of Ghazni, was the first invader who stormed the mountain passes of the north to set up a kingdom in India. He wanted to raise a large army and make Ghazni the most powerful kingdom in the reign and also his region. That's why he needed money. He had heard about the wealth of India, so he decided to invade India. In span of his 26-year ruling, power, he invaded India 17 times, and historians called him Lutera. He defeated the Hindustani ruler and got large tribute from them. The subsequent raids were against the rich temple towns of India. Muhammad plundered the enormous wealth of the temples and carried the riches away to his homeland. Most daring raids Mathura and Kanauj in 1018. He invaded Somnath temple in Gujarat 1026, stripped of all its wealth, even the precious stone embedded in the temple's walls were also dug out. It is very unfortunate that Muhammad Ghazni इंडिया में राज करने नहीं आए थे. इंडिया में जितना दिन वो अपना शासन को करना शुरू कर दिया था, ड्यूरिंग हिज पीरियड he looted all the wealth of India and reaches away to his homeland and carried the riches away to his homeland. But he was very pattern in learning. With the plundered wealth, Muhammad beautified Ghazni with gardens, mosques, libraries, colleges, and the museums. Muhammad was an invader and plundered, but there was another fact to his personality. He patronized scholars, artists, and poets also. Al-Biruni received Muhammad's patronage, who wrote Kitabul Hind, which is one of the finest works on astronomy, mathematics, geography, and philosophy also. Firdausi, the another author of Shahnama, was a poet, the Muhammad's court. Muhammad invited scholars and had collection of literary works from all parts of the world. He also founded a university of Ghazni. Mahmud died in 1030. A string of weak successors led the Ghaznavid empire to shrink rapidly. There were no further invasion for more than a century. Ghur was a small kingdom in present-day Afghanistan. Muhammad Ghazni had defeated the ruler of Ghur and made him his vassal. After Mahmud's death, the Ghaznavid empire had become weak. The Ghur ruler Muizuddin Muhammad took advantage of this period and made Ghur independent. He also annexed all Ghaznavid territories and popularly known in history as Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori was an ambitious ruler. He wanted to expand his empire. He decided to invade India not just for its wealth but also to build an empire. In 1175, he conquered Multan. 1178, he defeated the ruler of Gujarat. Muhammad soon realized that Punjab could be a good base for further conquest. So, 1190 he conquered Punjab. The Rajput at this time, the Rajput ruler of the neighboring kingdom of Delhi and Ajmer was Prithviraj Chauhan. The first battle of Tarain, 1191, the armies of Ghori and Prithviraj clashed at Tarain place. In this time, Ghori decisively defeated by Prithviraj Chauhan. But Prithviraj made no attempt to expel the Ghoris from Punjab because he thought that Muhammad Ghori posed no grave threat to his empire. This proved to be blunder. Soon after, Muhammad Ghori began to regroup his forces and fought Second Battle of Tarain 1192, where Ghori and Prithviraj came face to face once again, and this time Prithviraj was defeated by the battle of Ghori and captured. Muhammad Ghori did not stop at this. In 1194, he defeated again Raja Jayachand Chandra in the battle of the Chandwar. After that, his army overran the entire Ganga Yamuna Doab and established a sultanate with Delhi as its power center was established. What were the impact of the Turkish invasion? The invasion paved the way for the establishment of Delhi Sultanate. It controlled large parts of North India. Rulers now maintained their own armies. These armies were trained in new techniques of warfare. Horses came to be used increasingly. Lahore and Multan emerged as a new trading centers. And lastly, the contract between the Turks and the Indians gave birth to a composite culture. This is witnessed in the art, architecture, food, language, music, and so on. So here is ended to this topic. Next day, I will try to provide you your question answer in this chapter on next classes. Thank you.